Ever walked into a room, forgotten why you came in, and felt that little pang of fear? Is this just normal aging, or is my brain slipping? If you're over 70, you're not alone. Many older adults quietly worry about memory loss, confusion, or losing themselves with age. They may not say it out loud, but deep inside, there's a gentle, nagging question. Will I still be me in 5 or 10 years? And it's not just about remembering names or where you left your keys. It's about something deeper. Keeping your independence, making your own decisions, recognizing the faces you love, holding on to your stories, your wisdom, your identity. Maybe you've seen a friend struggle with memory. Maybe you've watched a parent or spouse change over time, and now you wonder softly, will that happen to me? Here's the hopeful truth I want you to hold on to. Your brain is not a light bulb that one day simply burns out. It's more like a garden. When you water it, tend it, and give it the right kind of sunlight, it can keep growing and renewing itself, even in your 70s, 80s, and beyond. Scientists have a word for this: plasticity. Don't worry about the term. All it means is this: your brain can still change, still adapt, still grow new connections at any age. You are not stuck with the brain you woke up with this morning. Now, I want to be very clear and honest with you. If you're really worried about memory loss, confusion, or big changes in your thinking, you should always talk to your doctor. The exercises we'll talk about today don't replace medical care, medication, or professional help, but they do give your brain the best possible chance to stay active and strong. They are like daily walks for your mind, gentle but powerful. In this video, I'm going to share 5 simple daily mind exercises you can do almost anywhere. You won't need special equipment, a computer program, or a complicated routine. These are habits you can weave into your everyday life while walking, cooking, talking to family, or getting ready for bed. Even if you have joint pain, even if you use a walker or spend most of the day at home, there is something here you can start today. We'll look at how to wake up your attention and focus, how to train your memory without feeling like you're back in school, how to use everyday conversations to keep your mind young, and how simple, tiny changes in your routine can light up new pathways in your brain. As we go along, I'll also share stories of real people like you, who have used these habits to feel clearer, calmer, and more confident about their minds. If you're ready to care for your mind the way you care for your heart, your bones, and your body, stay with me. Let's start with the first exercise. The Name Everything You See exercise. This exercise sounds almost too simple, but that's exactly why it's so powerful. It quietly trains 3 important skills at once: attention, memory, and language. Imagine Margaret from Yorkshire. She's 76. She lives in a small terraced house on a quiet street. For years, every morning, she took the same gentle walk. She'd shuffle down the pavement, thinking about her aches, worrying about her children, replaying old arguments, or listening to depressing news in her head. She often arrived back home without really remembering what she had seen along the way. Her legs had walked, but her mind had been somewhere else entirely. One day, her doctor suggested a simple experiment. "Margaret, on your walk tomorrow, I want you to name the world around you." So the next morning she tried. As she walked, she gently named what she saw, silently in her mind. Brick wall, red mailbox, silver car, small dog, green gate, tall pine tree. At first it felt a bit odd, but she kept going. Then she added more detail. Old brick wall with cracks, bright red mailbox, white flowers in the window, gray cat on the step. This little exercise took only 2 or 3 minutes, but inside her brain, important things were happening. Her attention was anchored in the present moment. Her brain wasn't drifting. It was focused on what was right in front of her. Her memory was engaged as she held a short list of items in mind, even just for a few seconds. Her language center was active as she searched for the right words to describe what she saw. Over the next few weeks, something subtle changed. Margaret noticed she was quicker at finding the right words in conversation. She said, "Oh, what's that word again?" less often. Her daughter noticed she was more alert during their visits. At her next doctor's appointment, she remembered more details. When a symptom had started, which medication had caused side effects, what time of day she felt most tired. You can do this exercise almost anywhere, even if you don't walk much. Looking out the window from your living room chair, sitting in the passenger seat of a car or on a bus, waiting at the doctor's office, quietly naming objects in the room, walking slowly through your home, naming things on your shelves. To start, just spend 1 or 2 minutes naming whatever your eyes land on. If you want to make it slightly more challenging, here are a few ideas. Name things by category. 3 things that are red, 3 things that are round, 3 things that are soft, 3 things that make noise. Name things in alphabetical order. Apple, book, curtain, door, envelope. You might not get every letter, and that's okay. The effort is the exercise. After 1 minute, close your eyes and try to recall 5 to 10 items you just saw. Don't judge yourself. Just see what comes back naturally. If you struggle at first, that's not failure. That's your brain warming up. Think of it like a stiff muscle. The first few stretches may feel awkward, but that's how you know you're doing the work. Some days, you'll feel sharp and remember a lot. Other days, your mind may feel foggier. That's normal. Just keep showing up. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is to wake up your brain, sharpen your awareness, and remind your mind that it still has an important job to do every day. So the next time you look out the window or take a few steps outside, try whispering the world back to yourself. That's your first gentle brain workout. The daily switch habit. Our brains love habits. Habits save energy. They make life easier. You don't have to think about which shoe to put on first or which way to turn out of your front door. You just do it. But there's a hidden downside. When everything is always the same, the brain stops paying attention. It thinks, I already know this. I don't need to wake up fully. That's where the daily switch comes in. It's a tiny, playful change in your routine that forces your brain to wake up and adapt. Let's go back to Tom from Ohio. He's 79. For decades, his days followed the same pattern. Brush teeth with his right hand, sit in the same chair at the kitchen table, walk the same route around his block, always put his keys in the same bowl by the door. There's nothing wrong with routine. In fact, routine can be comforting and calming. But Tom noticed something. He felt like he was moving through his day on automatic pilot. Hours passed and he couldn't really remember what he had done. His mind felt dull, like the volume had been turned down. One day, his daughter suggested a small experiment. Dad, this week, try brushing your teeth with your left hand. He laughed. Why would I make my life harder? But he agreed to try it, just for fun. The very first morning, he noticed a difference. He had to concentrate more. He had to move slower and more carefully. He had to pay attention to the angle, the pressure, the movement of his arm and hand. What seemed like a silly little change turned into a powerful mental workout. By the end of the week, he felt more awake in the mornings. He started to enjoy the challenge. So he added another daily switch. He began sitting in a different chair at the table, facing a different window. Suddenly, he noticed things he hadn't really seen before. The way the morning light came in, the tree outside, the birds that visited the yard. You can create your own daily switch in many ways, and they don't have to be difficult or risky. Use your non-dominant hand to brush your teeth, stir your tea or coffee. Use the TV remote. Open doors or drawers. Put on your socks. Rearrange something small in your home. Swap the positions of 2 kitchen drawers. Move the location of your favorite mug. Change where you keep your reading glasses. Put the TV remote in a slightly different, but still safe place. Vary your path or your position. Walk around the block in the opposite direction. Take a different path from the bedroom to the kitchen. Sit in a different chair at the table or in the living room. Stand on the other side of the counter when preparing food. If mobility is limited, you can still switch mentally. Change the order in which you read the newspaper sections. Listen to a different radio station or type of music. Try a different type of puzzle than your usual one. Each change tells your brain, pay attention. This is new. You need to be alert. You're not trying to make life difficult. You're trying to wake up sleeping pathways in your brain. Think of it as gently shaking your brain's shoulders and saying, hey, we're still learning. Stay with me. If you worry, what if I forget where I moved something? Leave yourself a small note or change only one thing at a time. Start with one tiny switch today. Tomorrow try another. Over time, these little changes help your brain stay flexible instead of rigid. A flexible brain is better at coping with change, solving problems, and recovering from stress. And that flexibility is one of your best defenses as you age. The Memory Snapshot Challenge. Many people over 70 quietly say to themselves, "I can't remember what I did yesterday. Is that normal?" That question can create fear. Fear can turn into avoidance. And avoidance can lead to using your memory less, which actually makes it weaker. Instead of letting that worry grow, let's turn your everyday life into a gentle memory gym. Nora in Melbourne is 82. She lives alone in a small flat with a balcony full of plants. Every afternoon, she chooses one moment from her day to turn into a memory snapshot. It could be something very small, a chat with a neighbor over the fence, a bird she saw landing on her balcony, the taste of her afternoon tea, a joke she heard on the phone, the way the light came through the window in the morning. Before bed, she sits quietly for a minute, closes her eyes, and asks herself 3 simple questions about that moment. What was I wearing? What did I see? Colors, shapes, objects, people? How did I feel in that moment? At first, she could remember only 1 or 2 details. Sometimes she'd wrinkle her brow and say, "I don't remember what I was wearing," or "It's all a bit fuzzy." But she kept going. After a few weeks, her snapshot became clearer and more colorful. She could see her blue sweater, the green tree outside, the white mug in her hand, and the calm feeling in her chest. She told a friend, "It's like my days have more color now. I notice more, and I remember more." This exercise does several important things. It strengthens memory, especially for recent events, the kind many seniors worry about. It trains your brain to notice details during the day because it knows you'll ask about them later. It connects memory with emotion, which makes memories easier to store and recall. Our brains remember feelings more easily than dry facts. You can make this into a beautiful evening ritual. As you sit in your favorite chair, take a slow, deep breath. Choose your snapshot of the day. Don't overthink it. Just pick a moment that stands out, even in a small way. Describe it in your mind like you're telling a story. This afternoon, I sat by the window in my gray cardigan. I watched the rain tap on the glass, and I felt peaceful and safe. If you enjoy writing, you can keep a small memory notebook and write 1 or 2 sentences each night. Not a long diary, just a quick note. Coffee with Mark. He wore a blue cap. We laughed about our school days. Over weeks and months, you might notice you're building a book of your days, a record of your life that your future self, or even your family, might treasure. If you find yourself thinking, "I can't remember anything," be very kind to yourself. Start with whatever you do remember, even if it's just one small detail. "I remember the taste of the tea," or "I remember the sound of the rain." That's your starting point, not your ending point. The point is not to test yourself or judge yourself. The point is to gently remind your brain, "I value my experiences. I want to remember my life." Over time, this practice can also reduce anxiety. Instead of thinking, "My days are all the same," you begin to notice, every day has at least one small, beautiful moment worth remembering. And that shift, from fear to appreciation, is powerful for both your brain and your heart. The conversation stretch exercise. Crosswords, Sudoku, and brain games can be helpful. But one of the most powerful brain exercises is something you already do, often without thinking, talking to other people. However, not all conversations are equal. A quick, "How are you?" "Fine." "Weather's nice." doesn't challenge the brain much. It's like walking 3 steps and calling it exercise. The conversation stretch is about going one small step deeper, just enough to make your brain think, feel, and connect. James from Sydney is 74. He talks to his grandson every week on the phone. Before, their conversations were short and practical. "How's school?" "Good." "All right, that's nice." The calls were friendly, but they didn't leave much to remember. James loved hearing his grandson's voice, but he felt the calls were thin. There wasn't much to hold on to or think about later. Now, James uses these calls to stretch both their brains. When his grandson talks about his day, James asks one extra question every time. What surprised you today? What was the best part of your day? What was something that annoyed you and how did you handle it? If you could change one thing about today, what would it be? Suddenly, the conversation changes. His grandson starts thinking, remembering, and explaining. He has to search for the most interesting moments in his day. James listens, imagines those moments, and asks more questions. He laughs, he empathizes, he shares his own stories. What's happening in James's brain? His memory is working as he connects new details with what he already knows about his grandson's life. His emotion centers are activated because he cares deeply about this child. His language and reasoning centers are active as he responds thoughtfully, gives advice, or connects the story to his own experiences. You don't need long, heavy talks. Just a few extra minutes of real conversation can give your brain a strong, healthy workout. You can try this with children or grandchildren, friends on the phone, neighbors you meet in the hallway or at the mailbox, your spouse or partner over a cup of tea, even a friendly shop assistant or someone at church. Here are some simple conversation stretch questions you can use. What did you learn today? What made you laugh this week? What's something you're looking forward to? What's one challenge you're facing right now? What's something that surprised you recently? If you could relive one moment from this week, which would it be? If you live alone, you can still practice this by talking to yourself or writing in a journal. Ask yourself, what went well today? What bothered me today, and how did I respond? What am I grateful for right now? What did I notice today that I've never noticed before? Your brain doesn't know the difference between speaking to another person and speaking thoughtfully to yourself. Both require reflection, memory, and language. Conversations are not just social, they are mental workouts wrapped in human connection. Your brain loves new information, stories, and emotional connection. And as a beautiful bonus, your relationships grow deeper and richer at the same time. So the next time you speak to someone you care about, try adding just one deeper question. That small stretch is powerful food for your brain. The mini problem of the day: your brain is designed to solve problems. When you stop giving it problems to solve, it starts to slow down. Not because it's broken, but because it's underused. But here's the key. Problems don't have to be big, stressful, or complicated. They can be tiny, playful, everyday challenges. Claire from California is 81. Every morning she gives her brain a small mission for the day. She calls it her brain spark. Some days, it's in the kitchen. How can I turn these leftovers into a new meal? Can I bake something using only what I already have at home? She looks at what's in the fridge and thinks, if I add these beans, those tomatoes, and some herbs, can I make a soup? She's not just cooking, she's planning, imagining, and adapting. Beautiful work for the brain. Other days, it's in the house. Today, I'll reorganize one small shelf and find a better system. I'll guess how long it will take me to do the laundry, and then I'll see how close I was. This sounds simple, but making a time estimate and then checking it later forces the brain to think, compare, and adjust. Some days, it's about learning. Today, I'll learn one new word and use it in a sentence. I'll look up a country I've never visited and learn one fact about it. I'll try to remember the capital of 3 countries I already know. These mini problems do something powerful. They keep your brain active and curious, instead of passive and bored. They train you to plan, decide, and adjust, which are important thinking skills for independence. They give you a sense of achievement, which is vital for emotional well-being and confidence. Your mini problem should be small enough to be done in one day, safe and realistic, a little different from your usual routine. Here are a few more ideas you might like. How can I reduce my phone or TV time by 10 minutes today and replace it with reading or music? Can I memorize a short poem, a Bible verse, or a favorite quote over the next week? Can I list 5 people I'm grateful for and think about why? Can I plan a simple phone call schedule so I talk to one friend or relative each day this week? Can I learn the name of one new neighbor or staff member and remember it next time I see them? The size doesn't matter. What matters is the message you send to your brain. You still have challenges. You are still needed. You are still capable of figuring things out. That message is incredibly powerful after 70, when the world sometimes acts as if everything should be done for you instead of by you. When you give yourself a small mission and complete it, your brain gets a little burst of satisfaction, a quiet, steady voice inside that says, "Well done, we can still do things. We are still here." Your brain is not finished at 70. It is not finished at 80. It responds every single day to how you use it. These 5 mind exercises may look simple, but together they form a powerful daily routine. Naming what you see keeps you present and sharp. Switching small habits wakes up sleepy pathways and keeps your brain flexible. Creating memory snapshots trains your recall gently and kindly without pressure. Stretching conversations strengthens both your mind and your relationships. Solving tiny daily problems reminds your brain that it is still active, capable, and needed. You don't have to do all of them at once. In fact, please don't try to do everything in one day. Start with one that feels easy and natural. Maybe today you simply name things you see out the window. Tomorrow you might add a daily switch by using your other hand for a simple task. Next week, you might begin your memory snapshot notebook. Over weeks and months, these small actions add up. They become a quiet promise you make to yourself. I am still here. I am still learning. I am still growing. You are not powerless. Every day, you have the ability to give your brain care, attention, and gentle challenge. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these exercises feels easiest for you to start today? Is it naming what you see on your walk, asking deeper questions in conversation, or choosing a tiny daily challenge for your brain? Tell me in the comments below. Your ideas might inspire another senior who is feeling afraid or unsure right now. You never know whose life you might touch just by sharing your experience. If this video helped you, please remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with a friend or family member who wants to keep their brain young, hopeful, and alive. Thank you for spending this time with me. Stay strong, stay curious, and stay mentally young, no matter what your birth certificate says.